So did something really change in the chart? Last time I made a video about Bitcoin, I don't remember exactly what it was. Maybe somewhere around this area right in here. So did something really change? I think it did today. Something did really change, and that's why I want to make the video. So I'll cover Bitcoin and couple other coins, and I'll move into stocks if you're interested to it. Some couple setups that I see it really good. If you want to watch the previous stock, I don't want to say the whole story. That was like a 30-minute video. So if you really want to get into the technicals and what I saw from the beginning, that's a good video. I think that's the last video I made. Anyway, so you would have see last time I made a tweet, and I would actually it was right here when I made you can see right in this chart right here. That was like 2 days ago. I made this chart, and I actually I draw all the resistance that I've seen so far, and I've been following Bitcoins, and I draw this chart, these resistance lines, and I said until we get really starting to break and close above these resistance line, then we will see something changed. And you can see how many times like we tested these lines and we failed. But today, as I was watching it, actually, if I take this off, that was actually, this one was, I think it was right here. It was actually a 4-hour chart. So did something really change? Yeah. Moving to the daily, like you can see this. If I let's take all the moving averages out, and then you can see really we had an A to B, B to C, C to D. That's a bullish sign right there. Yeah, it looks like an and, yeah, but that's a bullish sign. And doing it on a daily, that's really meaningful. I wish it would have been some volume right down here, a little bit more, but I think it's okay. But I wish it would have been a lot more. This one actually, this candle right here means a lot. When it did reverse, and then we had, even though this one by itself doesn't mean a lot. But it was actually a confirmation with this big, huge candle. So I was like, okay, so this could be the beginning of it. That was like on what was that? That was on the 9th. And then we had a couple days of consolidation, which is totally fine. And I did talked about how stocks do consolidate either ways, either in time or price. So you can go back and watch that video that I made last time, and then it was consolidation. So this one was almost consolidation in time. So you can see the price action on this day right here in this day, it was almost similar. A little bit of digesting in price when actually went test 50% of that green candle, 50% of it, and we reversed right back, and then we closed above one of the resistance line that I drew right here in red. Is that meaningful? Yes, it is. It is meaningful, and that could be the beginning of something that we might see coming. So what's next? What's next? As far as I'm concerned, I can see. Like I said before, go watch that video, and then you'll know why I draw these lines right here. So we have, like I drew before, back in this, I drew the black line. The red line, we've just broke it. That was the 4-hour. I just showed you the daily, which is even more meaningful than the 4 hours. So we broke this red line, and then I think next we're gonna break. If we don't break, we're gonna at least test it and come back. So if we're going back here, let's move the chart that we're talking about right now in 4 hours. That way you'll know what I'm talking about. So these are the line that I drew back here. You can see that we did close above that resistance line. Even when you close at least above that big the high of that red candle, that means a lot. And look at that volume picking up on volume. So there is something going on, something changing on that downtrend that we had. So like I said, we have next target will be that block line, which is about 4,200 give or take. So we can go back here, we can break it, and we can go right past through it, and then we can come to the next target, which is this support line. These lines are not magic lines; they're just like support and resistance, if you know what I mean. You can just go back and then you can draw these lines. You can see that the chart, if I draw this back here, And those, most of the time, you can pick these resistance and support line, but sometimes they're not going to be as best. But you can see that the price here played a little bit more up and down here, and then we came back, almost tested it here, right in here, 1, twice, 3 times, and then the 4th time we just broke it. And then you can see that, so that's as a support. So that's support, and since we are in downtrend, we are turning it to a resistance line. We kind of like played a little bit here. We found some support right in here for a couple of hours, since we're looking at the 4-hour chart, and then we broke it again, and then we came back and then used that support that we had here, so it became resistance. And then since then we forgot about that, the price action Bitcoin forgot about that block line. It was so weak that it couldn't even come back and test that block line. So it did use a downtrend, which was the red line here. Now, since that red line has broken and got violated on a decent volume, so the next one we're going to look at obviously is the block line, which is going to be the 4200. After that, I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I'm not, like I said before so many times, I'm neither bullish or bearish. I'm just reading what the chart is telling me. Since we broke this line, so the next line is going to be in target, so it would be a 4200. So there's 2 options. Either we can go right past through it and hit the next line, resistance line, which is a 4600, and then we can bounce right back, and then we use that block line as a support. So we might do this. There's like options. So we might go all the way and then come back and retest, and then sorry about that. And then we can bounce here a little bit, build some energy before we go right back up here. Or what we can do, actually, what can happen, there's so many ways that it can happen. We can either fail too. So they always keep that in mind. A secret to you: always keep yourself unbiased. Just go react to what the chart is telling you. We can actually we can go. Why I didn't delete it? Oh boy. Sorry about that. So we can go that way, or actually we can go hit that block line, use that resistance, and then come back here and then consolidate a little bit, and before we break that block line, and then see what can happen. We can probably hit it again, go like this, and then come back and bounce. So that's how a chart really could look like in the future. So either way it can happen. So next one in line, the block line, that could act, it's going to act, not would, it will act as a resistance, because it was a support before, and then if we close right above it, so next target will be the blue line, which is the 4600, 500, 600, 600, give or take, and then you can go from there. From what I see, going back to the daily, forget about the 4 hours, which again, same thing is gonna happen, but what I'm thinking, if I add some moving averages here, and I did talk about this last week, I said every time we are in a downtrend, you can see here on the upper trend. So either the 21 or the 50, usually the intermediate, the midterm intermediate line, which is the 50 line, it did act as a support before, like right in here and right in here. On a downtrend, now that 21 and the 50 is going to act as a resistance. Now, since we broke and closed above the 21, guess what's next in line? The 50 moving average. Yes, you guessed it right. And look where the 50 moving average is coming a long way, right with that block line, which is the previous resistance line. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see some type of resistance in here. So which could look like this, and then come back right here. And I don't want to see any failure like that. So what I really want to see is to really confirm that really the trend is changing, because so far right now with only one candle, it doesn't mean we're going to go to the moon. That really doesn't mean that. We have couple indication that the trend is changing. Yes, correct. And then actually, if we look at the weekly, see how the weekly look like. The weekly look like, yeah, like I already closed the weekly, so that could be a trending changing, but you need some type of confirmation. At least one of them will be. We have them on a daily though. It's right now. Everything is moving higher. But starting to close, if you use some Fibonacci, if you have, if you using the Fibonacci and starting to close, that's how I came to decide that blue line, closing weekly above that blue line, which is the high of that candle, which is 46,650. That is going to mean a lot. That's going to mean a lot, and it's going to tell me that the next move, it's going to be to the upside. Especially if we actually if I move this to the daily, and then especially if we go, sorry about that, if we go find some, it's okay to find some resistance in here, but we need actually to break that resistance, which is the 50 moving average, head back here and then come back and use the 50 as a support, and bounce right back up. So this could happen. I'm just speculating, but nobody knows exactly for sure what's going to happen. So, but I'm saying if we see that scenario like that, there is like thousands of scenarios that I could play. That would be really that would give me like the confirmation that the Bitcoin price want to really move higher. So just to make it easy for you, we need on the way up, we had a price that was using the 21. So basically the two lines were below the price, and you want to see the same thing when the stock's starting to merge and then changing its direction. You want the price to be on the other direction, and using the especially the 50, not the 21 so much, but this is like a first step, but moving more on the 50, using that as a support. So like going up right back up here, and then the 50 will starting to merge like that and going up back up higher, and then starting to go like they use that as a support, and it bounced right back up. So that could be just to give you a scenario where this actually did happen. If I move this chart right in here, and actually it did happen on Roku. So look at this downtrend right here in Roku. Look at that resistance line on the blue right in here, and you can see the price action right down here. It was actually every time it goes trying to penetrate that 21 moving average, it got rejected. Here it did it on the 50, it got rejected. So that means the bears are really in control. But once things started to shift, and actually we broke that 50 moving average. Look at the volume down here. We broke it, and then we went sideways. We never had any rejection, and then we went and tested that resistance line that was tested before. And then when we came down, we never actually did break below, just like we did back here. We actually started to fight. It was like a fight between the bulls and the bear, for that 50 to move to act as a support. And that's what you want to see when that's your indication, especially when you see bars like that, using that 50 as a support. So basically the price, the moving average is shifting. So the red line wasn't above the price. Now things gonna starting to shift, and then look especially right in this area right in here, when it's either after we have that huge move in here, things can go wrong right in here, and then bear will take control again. But we didn't. In Roku, in this example, actually we went, and then we could look at that huge bar volume like right in here. This day, these 2 days, especially this day right in here, and then this day right in here, and this day. That was like, that's a confirmation. That's what actually gives me, and then it should give you the conviction that something is changing. So and then right after we especially with these candles, once we broke it and then we went sideways, Roku just took off right from there. And then next in the line, you look, okay, well, this is the previous high, this is the major highest price of Roku, which was 175. And then if you were watching the stock, look how it did attempt it and got rejected. We put a reversal candle right in here. We got rejected, but we never came back below the 50. We actually held it, and look right there, we came back with huge volume. And if you would have catch that price right in here, man, you would have been in a good uptrend right in here. And actually that was the end of it right in here when we broke that candle right in here. You can use the 50 moving average, and you can use the last low. I did mention, I did talk about these two stocks. And right now, look how things are shifting. I actually shifted since we made that move what actually, well, the real move actually was from 188 stock to 482. That's a huge. Stock is not going to keep going up all the time, but you need to wait, and you need to, if you like it, if you like the fundamentals, if you like the company, you need to keep it on watch list and see. So right now, look how that 50 moving average, it's acting as a resistance. It came back right up here, it got rejected, came back again, it got rejected. Now we came back right here, we got rejected again, but not so much. We came right back and starting to consolidate. So what do you want to see? You want to see same thing that happens again right back in this area. It's a fight. That gives you, and then the stock actually will stop making lower lows and lower highs. So stock actually did stop barely right in here, give or take. Yeah, with this candle, it was like a last candle, almost like we can say that, especially with this candle here, kind of was like a reversal candle. It was an engulfing candle, like especially with low. I love these candles. It gives me like the convection too, that tells me that something's happening, because usually they open lower but they end up closing right at the high of the day. So you want to see again, you want to see the price starting to use that 50 as a support, and then you can get a confirmation, just like we did before. You can use that or whatever. You get the idea. So so another thing I want to talk about is 16 minutes already. If you want to, beside Bitcoin, if you want to, I urge you to look for all other coins. If you are interested, then look relative strength for those coin. What I mean by that, you see like this move that we went down from here to here, 60,000. That was like 50% down movement. Look for other coins that actually did not get hit as much as Bitcoin. That means, and those coins that did not actually get hit, those are the one that shows relative strength and shows that they can really be leaders once Bitcoin start rallying again. Let's look at Ethereum, for example. Since Ethereum did get hit a little bit, but not as much, even though, you know, if I use that price range tool, actually we went down 55%. Yeah, that's quite a bit, but not as much. Like we didn't really go all the way down here. So that's, I think right now, like Ethereum is showing some relative strength right now, even though like it's really below the 50. Go through all the coins that you know, and just watch for that 50 moving average, that red line, and see if the price is below the 50 or not. One actually, two of them that I noticed, actually they're not. Look at Dogecoin, for example. Dogecoin, I bought it actually when it was right back here. I bought it right at 6 cents, right in here, right before that move, and I took some profit along the way. And it did look how the price of Dogecoin actually did found some support right at the 50 moving average, comparing to other ones that actually trading below it. Even like I said, Ethereum is trading right below it. The ones I really want to show you is actually Adacoin. Adacoin, look how I bought it right at 135. You can see my mark. I bought it, and I did tweet about it before. I bought it right there. And look how it's found in support right at, it did broke and close below it, but it did found some bulls that defend that 50 moving average. So that, for me, that's a relative strength. That means whoever's buying, whoever's already bought, they're holding their shares and they don't want to sell. So for example, this shows me that next bull move, Adacoin is going to perform a lot better because it's a lot stronger, because it was not weaker, even though it wasn't weaker when Bitcoin was weaker. Another one that what I want to show you is Matic. Matic, look how it's. I bought this one actually when it was 37 cents. Was it right here? Yeah, it was right at the move. Actually, I bought it right in here, right in this area, 37. I'm still holding it. Look how it's above the 50 moving average. That gives you an indication again that Matic Polygon, it's really it's strong comparing to other coins. So you bet that when next move, how higher this one can go. And this is one of my tools that I use to tell me to choose actually between the coins and which one is strong, which one's not strong. So Matic and Adacoin actually were fighting. Matic was actually above the 50 moving, which acting a lot better than Atacoin, and it did not give as much gain. That's another thing you want to look at. It did not give as much gain as other coins. So another one. Let's move on to stocks right now. If you're interested into stocks, some of my focus list that what I'm watching is OEMCL. It's a computer hardware. Actually, it's since the breakout right in this price right here. You can even use this as a breakout since we did consolidate. Always look for those. It doesn't matter if it's crypto, forex. Always look for the moving averages switch. When we started switching those moving averages, you better pay attention. When the price action starting to pull back, and look how these wicks, we're starting to use that 50 moving average as a support instead of resistance. That's when things starting to shift, and wait for the breakout, and then you can use them again as a guidelines for that trend. And once you start breaking them, then that will tell you it's the end of the trend. Another thing I want to share with you is every week, like, look at the stock and look at it on the weekly. That gives you the broad picture of what's going on. So stock made a move right from the low here, from 78 all the way the beginning of October last year, all the way to 147. What's the stock doing? It's just consolidating and moving sideways. That's why I brought it here and I mentioned it. I want to tell you to keep an eye on it, and once you start breaking, look, the stock is just going sideways, and once the stock starting breaking here, that's what you want to when you want to take action. Another one is keys. Look how we found resistance back here a couple times. Look, when the stock is just starting to get tight right in here in their breakout, and then we went from 111 all the way to 136. Once you're starting to close below that 21 moving average once and twice, that's for me, that's an indication that the bears will take control over time. Not all the time, but I think 99%, not 99%, but 90% of the time that will happen. This is only for my one of my secrets that I'm sharing with you guys. Usually once you have a violation, when I mean every time I say violation, that means that a stock starting to close for a day, at least minimum 1 day, but usually you want 2 days. That's an indication that the stock will enter a different phase, which is usually a consolidation. Either it will consolidate, or if it's weak enough, it will starting to break lower and everything's starting to shift lower, and then stock will start moving using that 50 as a resistance, and everything will start shifting lower. In this case, we did actually starting to close here once, twice, 3 times. For me, if I made that profit from 111 to here, man, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that chart. Or you can use the last low right in here, last low. So stock came back here and then bounced right back up. Use your low right in here. Once the stock got invalidated, you get out. Use your money somewhere else. The stock, it just entered a new phase, and then it's starting to go sideways. And then from here, if you notice, the stock starting to make higher lows right in here. That means the bulls came back and support and didn't let it drop all the way in here. So something could have been changing in here. And then using the Fibonacci, if you want to, I think right in this price, look how we came back right at that Fibonacci price, which is 78%, and we actually waited for like 1 week. That tells me that that right there, stock is starting to find, it already did found some resistance. So a breakout, look how the volume starting to pick up. A breakout right in here. Actually, I'm already have the conviction that the stock wants to go higher. That doesn't mean it will go higher, but it's setting up for another move higher. God knows how long it could be higher from here. You can do another. You can use it. Yeah, you can go up with 191. God knows, another 40 point. It can go even higher than that. But I urge you to always look at the weekly. Check this out, and then see what's the price action is telling you. For me, this is really meaningful. But once we're starting to close and clear the high of that big red candle, things are still going higher. Another one that I want to mention is Snap. Snap, if you move it actually on the daily, you can see how the stock, and it did actually right back here. If you notice, my notes are still back in here since December last year. I did actually wrote it, and I did actually, the price just closed below the 21 one day, and then the second day, and then right after that I knew that the stock is gonna enter a new phase, which is a consolidation. Guess what? It did actually move higher, but it got rejected. But usually I like to stay away once the stock's starting to violate, because there will be a bull fight. It will be a fight between the bulls and the bear. But most of the time, not 100%, most of the time, stock will enter another phase, which is, you can see if you would have stayed in the stock since January, actually, since in here, since I did actually put it, it was December last year. Yeah, December last year. Look how long we've been, almost like over 7 months that the stock, I say, yeah, about 6 to 7 months, the stock didn't almost go nowhere, and it's just been consolidating. This is healthy for the stock, and for right now, it's giving me actually the conviction that the stock wants to move higher. Always watch that last resistance and support, and your stock will talk to you. Look how many times we found actually resistance right in here, and right at $65 price for the sake of the numbers. 65 came back here, we got rejected, came back here, got rejected. Now we came back here, we didn't get rejected like we did previous, right in here and here. Look what happened. We came back to that 65, got rejected a little bit, but not as much. We went sideways, and the volume just starting to pick up, especially last Friday. Look at the volume on average, 14 million.8. I'm using the 20, you can use the 50, whatever you like. But it was actually, I noticed it starting to pick up. It was some pickup on volume last Friday. I can use this as an action day for me, as like a buying point, and you can put your support, your stop loss, whatever your low of that day of that candle, or your low here, whatever your percentage. I suggest not to use more than 8 or 7%. If you're still struggling with making money, man, make a promise to yourself and not to lose more than 7 or 8%. If you do that, man, if you take that promise, and it doesn't matter, always play with your position. I mean, what I'm talking about, like position sizing. If play with it and don't lose more than 7%, you'll be a lot better. And just start taking profit once it starts go in your favor, and then you can add to it later, whatever, what have you. Right? I mean. Yeah, so Snap was another one, FRHC was another one. You can see the volume right in here starting to pick up. Look at the volume. Always look at them at the weekly and see. Look at that. Like, we went from, look how many times we broke out from here. All the way, we've been bringing it since $18 all the way to $50, and then we actually did broke the 21 moving average right in here. We broke it, came back. One day is not enough. I like to see 2 days or 3 days, mostly 2 days. That give me an indication that the stock wants to enter a new phase, and it did. We moved higher. I think there was like an earning or something right in here because of that gap, and then we just went sideways since then. Now the stock is telling me that it wants to move higher. Look at it. I wouldn't chase it in here. Look how that distance between the 21 and then look at 21 and price low, that candle. That's quite high. I would like for it to move sideways or pull back, and use pull back like what as an entry point. But yeah, but I wouldn't chase it in here. That's it. I can talk like for hours and hours, but I hope this give you how I see things and how I see the price action. To wrap it up, Bitcoin, something is changing in Bitcoin, especially since we had the close. Because last time, I don't want to keep making videos over and over and over. I just like to make them when there is something going on, and if I add any value to you, give me a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't yet. To sum it up again, I see something's going on. Something's positive. Always go like, always look at the coin at both sides. Like, okay, so we're looking positive here, but if we're starting to close below that candle right there, right that green candle right in here, something will change. And I don't know what reason. I don't want to know the reason, because it could be millions of reasons. Starting to close below the low that candle, that will turn bearish on Bitcoin. Like I said before, I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish. I'm just translating what the price is telling me. Right now it's bullish. we might see, I want to see, or I will turn really bullish if we start using that 50 moving average. We start to close above it on a daily. The weekly will be a lot better, because the weekly will override the daily, and then the monthly will override the weekly. I want to see it close above the 50 moving average. Use that as a support. It will be a lot better if we close even the weekly above that blue line, which is 46,400, give or take. All right, this is it. If there is any update, I'll try to make another video. I hope you guys found some value in it. Again, if you did, give me a like, give me a comment below, tell me what you want me to cover next time, and I'll do it. Thank you guys so much, and you take care. Bye bye.